there's times in your life where you're going to feel really close to God, and there's definitely going to be times, especially in the future, where I know I'm not.
I definitely have heard and I believe that the times when you think you're the furthest, you're the closest.
But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you.
I am the Alpha and the Omega.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Holy Bible Bros. It's the name we came up with. I'm Owen.
I'm Eric.
So the point of this is just for like faith-based. It's just to talk about anything about Jesus, anything, we felt on our heart to talk about. Today we're just going to talk about testimonies, go through both mine and his, and just bounce off each other, just talk about it. After that, we plan to do many other, different other ones. I was thinking maybe Joy of the Lord could be one. There's a lot of other possibilities, though.
Yep. Open-minded.
Yeah, we're open-minded. There might be something that theologically we're wrong about, and we're not always going to be perfect, right? But I mean, of course, if I disagree with something that he says, or you disagree with something with me that I say, that we're going to be honest to each other, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to bring it up.
We should
just start. Do you want to start with yours, or do you want me to start with mine?
I'm good for whatever.
Okay, then you start. I don't want to start.
My testimony. Shoot. I was supposed to plan this out before I came, and I thought
I didn't plan mine out, but I've talked about mine before.
Yeah.
Like, I had to talk about it when I was at, camp counselor, so.
Yeah.
I've talked about it, but.
I don't know, I've grown up in the church my whole life. I come from a Mennonite family, a very Mennonite family. Pretty much all my relatives are Mennonite. So I kind of always grew up in the church. I attended WMB in Kitchener for basically all my life. They have a really good youth program there. I really liked it.
Is that the one I was at?
Yeah, that's the one you came to a couple times.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
This guy, he had some different ideas. He likes his youth, but
no, yeah, I do enjoy my youth, and I'm still there right now. So I enjoy it way more than I would say yours. But I think each to their own, right?
Yeah.
Like yours has benefits in the fact that it's small, and it's it feels more genuine when you're with other people. But I don't know. I'm just always like that. I guess I'm a little bit of a somewhat mega church person.
Well, it's not
I wouldn't say it's a mega church.
He comes from a lot bigger of a church than I do.
Yeah.
And that's just there's differences in that, but that's there's nothing inherently wrong with that.
Well, I definitely don't think denominations, I don't think just because I'm Protestant or just because I'm Orthodox or I'm Catholic, I'm going to go to heaven. I don't think that's how it works. I think it ultimately comes down to your heart. There could be certain scriptural stuff that are more true and that make more sense, but I think God's going to judge your heart based on it, and based on what you know. Yeah. He's going to, let whatever happens, right?
I would agree with that. I mean, I just attended a Mennonite church. My family's very Mennonite.
Yeah. So
that's just kind of what I grew up with. But, I went through all of that. I can't say, I kind of just went through the motions for a while. I go to church every Sunday. My parents would make me go to the junior youth.
Would you say it's more of a eat on Sunday, only on Sundays, or were you?
Yeah, my parents are pretty religious, so I'd hear about it in the house too.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, I didn't really I was 7 or 8, the time I'm talking about, and so I didn't really think too much of it. And it really wasn't until near the end of high school. In high school, I started kind of taking it a bit more seriously. I remember I went on my first senior youth retreat in grade 10, because grade 9 would have been COVID year for me. And that was kind of the first time I was there's a bit more of this than I thought, or there's more to this than I thought originally. Yeah. So that kind of that was the first time it kind of hit me, and I was maybe I'm here for a bigger purpose. Maybe I should start taking this seriously. I didn't really take it that seriously. It wasn't until the end of grade 11
Yeah, I feel like both of our testimonies, in a way, we didn't just like click.
Yeah,
It didn't
yeah.
just like, faith didn't just immediately click, oh, I'm like there's a lot of ones where, like, say, I know a lot of persons or people who've had it just instantly, they've became a different person. Like,
Yeah.
one of my friends, Dawson, he used to be a drug addict, and
Yeah.
like, to go from that to being in church and stuff, it's like a big difference, right? But really, for us, we've just, both of us in a way, have started in church and started in the family like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
although people would say that's a boring testimony, I think that's like one of the best
Yeah.
testimonies you can have. Like,
You were,
that,
you were
I mean, ultimately, when you come down to it, other people who have those like crazy testimonies that come from drugs and then figure out to that, they want the testimony you have.
Yeah.
Because that, it's such a more beautiful testimony to become from church and just like be faithful all of your life, right?
yeah,
but-
it's maybe like an easier path, I want to say.
It is. Well,
I mean,
we're-
nobody's testimony is better than another.
No, I don't think that.
Yeah,
I
no, I
thi-
see what you mean.
But I mean, we're both lucky to be brought into a Christian
Yeah,
household,
Christian
right?
household. I just finished my first year at university, and so that was like an experience. And so like kind of establishing my faith near the end of high school and like actually deciding, hey, I kind of want to pursue this. I remember Brad, my youth pastor. I love Brad. He was such a good. He knew what he was talking about.
Brad, I have no idea who is that.
I don't-
Is that the guy with the long hair? that I
Yeah,
saw?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might have like he stopped being like the lead youth pastor in grade 12. Or
I
whatever.
do remember seeing him once though. The
Yeah.
one time I went, yeah.
But he'd kind of like he'd do like speeches still, or not. What do you call them?
Preaches.
Preaches, yeah. Anyways,
Sermons. One of the two.
he was very big on like especially near the end of high school saying like once you're done high school, your faith is kind of your own. Like once you get out into university and stuff, like it's up to you to decide. There's nobody really pushing you to go do this. And he talked a lot about how a lot of people kind of fell out of the church after high school. And so to me that was kind of like that was my deciding factor that hey, I kind of want to pursue this as like an actual thing because now it's my choice. Now I go off to university and I have to find a church. I have to make Christian friends. Or not necessarily, you don't have to make all Christian friends, but you should, have a good Christian circle around you.
I think, of course, it's important to stay with people who are secular in a way.
Yeah.
And try to not for the fact of just. Basically, what I'm saying is you should be with secular people because you want to still be a light to other people.
Yeah.
Because if you isolate yourself just to Christian people, then like, who are you to be like the one verse? Who are you to love somebody who
Exactly.
you love?
Yeah.
Like you gotta love people you don't love too.
Jesus hung around a lot of different people, and
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
mean,
people who weren't Christian.
Yeah. Jesus hung around of a lot of sinners, as they would
Yeah,
say, right?
yeah.
So, and they were people, but typically the thing is, the sinners he hung around were the ones that were the most broken and the ones that didn't like their sin. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like
Yeah.
Pharisees I would say, are pretty big sinners, but they weren't broken. They were righteous, and they think they're
self-righteous. Yeah.
self-righteous, and they didn't see anything wrong with the sin they were doing.
Yeah.
They were living in it, right?
Yeah, you got to be
But-
open-minded. Like that really stuck with me. And so kind of by the end of high school, I remember like the last senior youth or whatever in grade 12, I was like, okay, this is something I want to make sure I keep up with in university. And I think I did a pretty good job.
That's when people start to, fade off, and they also start to leave their church, their families who have
Yeah.
most of their where most of their faith was because of their family.
I think that's true for a lot of things after high school. Like, you kind of have to be intentional about what you use your time for, because now it's your time. You have like nobody's telling you to go do anything, and so to a lot of people, like maybe their parents are making them go to church, or maybe it was just because their high school friend group that they stuck with all throughout high school was still going, and so now once those people kind of split off and they're doing other things, now you have to choose to do that, and to some people that choice unfortunately is not like a priority to them. faith was pretty gradual. Like, it kind of gradually built up. There was never, I don't think I ever had like a moment
Like
where,
a moment of just like
right.
reverence.
Yeah. Like, I didn't have some sort of like dramatic coming to, but yeah, no, I think that's kind of how it went.
I was born in a Catholic home. Although I wouldn't say as much as your family probably was pretty good with faith. I'm not, no bashing on my family, and I'm not like trying to do that at all. And if they're watching this, I'm sorry. It was more of just, we went to church Sunday. Like, we were all lukewarm, I would say. And me, even less than lukewarm. I would go to church every day, and it's like, it'd feel like rules, feel like this. Because I went to a Catholic school, right? And every day it felt like, I gotta do these rules, go here. Go to church on Sunday. Try not to have sex before marriage, stuff like that.
Yep.
Not like I was gonna be doing that as a little kid like that. I would hope not. But I didn't have a relationship at all. I didn't read the Bible. I went to Sunday, there was like Sunday,
Mass.
like, no, not mass. I'm trying to say like school, Sunday school, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Where you would like learn about stuff. And I learned a lot from that. But I also went to a lot of, as a kid, went to a lot of like camps in the summer for that. Like, the one summer camp that probably hit the most and that I liked the most, and I went for till I was maybe grade 7, grade 6, would probably be U-Turn.
Oh, it was U-Turn. Okay. Yeah.
U-Turn, I went there for a long time, and it was very different for me because most of the other ones were pretty, I'm not saying there were Protestant, not Protestant churches, but I don't remember, like I remember U-Turn being much different from all the other ones. They had a lot of like, there was worship. That was like the only place I had worship, and I didn't even see it as worship because it was like campfire songs. That was the place that I felt home, and a place that was different from other places. And it was crazy to me because the worst part of it was, it really hit when I got to grade 8. I stopped going to U-Turn probably grade 8, grade 7, but then COVID hit.
That would have been around COVID.
COVID is when it really hit because we didn't go to our church anymore, and it wasn't just that we didn't go to the Catholic church, but like it kind of stemmed from being out of grade 8, right? And I'm done. But it also stemmed from the fact that, COVID happened. We couldn't really go anyways.
Yeah.
It wasn't a choice. But I think definitely it was mainly a stem from me being like in grade 8, and my mom's like, and my parents are like, you can now choose if you want to go. Like they gave me that choice, and I was like, I hate it there. I hate it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. I didn't at all. And it looking back on it, it's like, it's sad that like I would go. I mean, but like there was no like every time I have nothing against Catholic people. I just want to say this, but like it's just it felt like it felt so planned.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing to it.
Very
like very traditional. And I am trying to clarify, like I am not bashing against any Catholic people. Like there is a lot of Catholic places and a lot of ones that do it right. There's just some beliefs for me that I don't agree on.
Right.
For instance, I definitely don't agree on like the idea of you have to conform to your priest.
Yep.
And that the priest is number one. I think that everybody is equal. I don't think once the veil was torn, I don't think there should be a high person who's supposed to speak so that you can speak to them, to speak to God. Like it should just be, I should be able to just speak to God.
Right.
And there's other stuff, like there's some stuff about praying to Mary, there's some stuff, and I'm not gonna go into that because I'm not a theologian. I don't know a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know perfectly if Protestant is right or whatever. But besides that, in grade 8, I stopped going. And it got really bad in grade 9 because I got into an addiction of just lusting. And that was, it really stemmed after not going to church, which is crazy to me. But that was a big issue, and it lasted like, I'd probably just beat it like maybe half a year ago.
Yeah.
Maybe less. But that was a big issue for me. And the real thing that where I came back to Christ was when I, with my friend Jack Church, he was going to U-Turn Ranch. Like he started telling me, he's like, you should come. Like, well, he's telling everybody, but
Yeah.
they needed camp counselors.
Oh,
And
is that when?
Yeah.
Okay, that's when you went to. Okay.
That's when I got recruited.
Right,
basically.
right.
But that story, like, it kind of came out of the blue. Like, he's just like telling me about this, that he's gone to U-Turn. I'm like, man, I used to go there as a kid a lot. Like,
Yeah.
that place was great.
Yeah, it was familiar.
And I was like, it was like a last dish effort, me going there. Like, I was gonna go to probably back to No Frills and just work at No Frills during the summer, where I've been. But he gave me the opportunity. I'm like, I need volunteer hours. I'm like, I haven't got any. I was like,
Oh, this was the.
yeah, this is the play.
Okay.
The play changed so drastically. Like, it was like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go for a week, get my volunteer hours, because I need my volunteer hours. That's what I need.
Right.
I'm gonna go for a week. I'm gonna get my volunteer hours, and I'm gonna get the heck out.
Yeah.
But then I like called them and talked to them, and they're like, yeah, you can do that, but like we would like to have you for like the entire summer if possible.
Right.
And I'm like thinking, I'm like,
A big
I don't
commitment.
know. It was a big commitment.
Yeah.
Because like you're there from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
You're there from Monday. No, not even Monday. You come in Sunday.
Yeah.
You come in Sunday night at like 7 p.m. and you're there till like 6 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah, because I remember we never saw you. We
No.
were playing basketball, and we were like, where's this guy Owen at?
No,
And
I
we're like,
was
oh,
just
wait,
there.
He's at camp. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it was, but I felt there was like a touch of, it definitely was a touch of God, but I wouldn't have known. I didn't know back then what that was. I was so out of it at that point that I had no idea what, feeling of God would be and stuff like that. So I had no idea, but that's really what it was. It was like a little nudge from God to get me into that. There I shared my testimony. And it honestly, the thing about testimonies is they change like
Yeah.
as you go.
Testimony is kind of something you're always
It doesn't.
developing.
Yeah, it doesn't stay. There's. Well, I mean, it depends what you think is the testimony. Because some people, when they think of testimony, they're like, testimony means like, my first coming to Christ.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of like testimony. I think testimony could be even about like a crazy experience you had after, like, coming to Christ. But
And people kind of go in and out. Like, there's times in your life where you're going to feel really close to God, and there's definitely going to be times, especially in the future, where
Well,
I know I'm not.
I definitely have
straight
heard
away.
and I believe that the times when you think you're the furthest, you're the closest. Like when somebody's teaching you,
Yeah.
they're not gonna help. They're not gonna be there and help you on a test, right?
Right.
When you're on a test, you don't get help from the teacher.
It's like the real thing.
That's what it's like. It's
Yeah.
like when you're closest when you don't feel him, because you're being tested. What were we on?
Talking about U-turn.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just.
I was a big Silver Lake guy. I don't know
Oh,
if
we
anybody.
were talking about. Oh yeah, Silver Lake. Wait, is that the one I went to recently for the retreat?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're a big Mennonite camp.
Well-
'Cause I was gonna say like.
Well, that's where the Southampton trip is.
Oh, actually.
That's where the missions trip I'm going on in a bit. The Southampton's one.
Oh. I
So
didn't
they
know
go
that.
to what we do for movement is we go to Silver Lake,
Right.
I believe, and it's like sport because it's like a sports camp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we help with, we basically run it, just us movement kind of, and help like be coaches for each of the different ones. There's like
Oh, okay.
cheer and stuff like that, and like I'm not. I hope not. I hope I don't get put on cheer. I would.
Hey, bro,
I would
maybe,
hope.
maybe it's your calling.
But yeah, I shared my testimony there. There's a lot of stuff that happened there. I had somewhat of a situationship there. I don't even know.
I remember hearing about this.
I don't know if I should even go into that, but
it was
I don't think
that
yeah,
brought
it was
you closer to
experience.
God.
Yeah, it was. I think that that is also like something that now I would include into my testimony.
Yeah.
But so after that, it like after camp, it kind of subsided. But that was something that after camp I struggled with for a while. It was a very hard time, but the reason why I think it didn't work out, and the thing about it was I was so caught up in the fact of the relationship itself that I didn't even think about God in the relationship. I was basically having that person as an idol. That people don't even realize that idols can be anything. They can't. It's not like it's just like some shrine that like a golden statue of something that's an idol. No, an idol can be your phone. An idol can be
for sure.
anything that you put over God.
Yep.
That is an idol.
Yeah. I think that's expanding too. Like prosperity gospel is definitely a thing these days. Like the idea that God's gonna give you money and wealth. And power. I think it's really easy for those to become an idol.
God doesn't really say that he'll do that. He
that's
does
exactly the point. That's why
he says in the Bible that
it's difficult for a rich man to get into heaven, or rich woman, or
but he definitely says that like you'll get by. That's the point though.
Yeah.
You'll get by. Like he will help you with financials if you need help with financials. It will happen. But the petting thing is like what for financial. It's not going to be something like, I need a car. Like I need a car. You don't need a car, for instance. But he will help you definitely get by in that fact.
For sure. I think there's definitely people, like I think about like nuns and monks and like people anyways, I think about people like that who like they don't have any financial
help
really. I guess maybe they do, like obviously they do a little bit of stuff.
Well, like I think,
but I think about Job
like
too.
I'm just thinking if you as you give financially, he'll help you. Like that's what you do. Like if you give financially, I think I'm coming off a little wrong in the way that I'm saying stuff right now, to be honest. I'm saying that you're still gonna go through struggles. This is what I'm getting to. You're still gonna go through struggles. God doesn't promise you a better life when you go to Christ. He does not. Look at Job. Job, he basically had nothing, but he still praised God.
Right.
And that's an amazing thing that I think all of us should, take a little bit out of it. Like, you don't have this. Well, I mean, at least you have the breath in your lungs. At least you're still alive.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Right? I've heard about it's like 1 in 400 trillion or something like that you're born.
Right.
Like the chances. So like take heart in that you're at least alive. If there's other things you don't have, then like you're alive, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
I disagree with the prosperity gospel, by the way. I don't think God, like I see all those like alpha male edits on Instagram where it's like, lately I've been locked in, I've been going to the gym, I've been getting closer to God, and I've been getting rich. Like,
yeah,
I
definitely think there is people who can be rich and go to heaven though, but like
I think
not
so
like
too.
like in forms of they're rich, but they still have to give. Like I mean, can you even be rich if you're gonna be giving?
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking now.
If I own a Lamborghini, right? Let's say I own a Lamborghini, I won't. I'm never. I don't think.
I wouldn't want to be honest.
Like if I own a Lamborghini and I give like all the rest of my money, but I still own that Lamborghini, like there's still people who are homeless. There's still people who are like don't have food on their table. What does that make me if I say, oh, I'm a Christian, but I own all this expensive stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like,
But that, like, I don't know. I'm torn, bro.
yeah,
I'm
I mean,
torn.
I we'll probably, like, that's a big topic to talk about
Yeah,
right now.
that'll
Like,
be a whole
that would be a whole segment just to talk about. I mean, just being like the rich and the poor, how that works, because like it's kind of like countercultural, or not countercultural, like it's just like counter to how that works. Like becoming rich, you're rich now, but like you're also supposed to give.
Yeah.
So like, should you really be up? Like for instance, like it goes into the Bible one time how the poor woman gives like, she's like, they look at her and she gives like two pieces of change.
Right.
And she's giving everything she has. She doesn't have
Exactly.
anything other than those 2 pieces of change. And those other people are like, well, I just gave like $100. It's like,
But you could have
but
given way
but
more.
you have probably like say they have $1,000. That's like 10% of what they have compared to that person just gave 100%.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a lot. Like there's I believe God doesn't care about how much it is. He just cares about what your heart is at when you're giving it.
Right.
Definitely the prosperity, the way I was talking about that, I was not talking about it right, completely right. But
Yeah.
you know, it's not
Yeah.
the end of the world. Let's get into, so I'm almost done.
Yeah, we're getting to the
We're
end.
getting
We're
there.
getting there.
Me after U-turn, with just a lot of issues, and I knew, but the thing is, I preached about, when I went through my testimony, I preached about it after. I was like, you know, the thing is like there's these struggles and these things, but now that I'm following Christ, now that this is happening, I still don't think my life is going to be great.
Right.
Like for instance, what we were talking about earlier, but it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. I just think it's easier with Christ, like to have him on as your back buddy, like to have a person that you can lean on, which is Christ. Like I don't think, and I started listening to Christian music, started trying to get those things right, but I still don't think I had a good enough. It didn't really click into me until, you know, I get to my gap year, what I'm in now. And I knew I needed it. Like, I am so glad that I did not go straight into university, even though I didn't know what I was going to go into, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's where, maybe for the listeners, this is where we took different paths.
We differ.
I booked it on out of here. You stuck around.
Yeah, he went to university. I stayed and did a gap year instead of going to university, because I didn't know, first off, I didn't know what I wanted to go into, and now I do, which is nice. But I also I knew my relationship with God was not gonna, it wouldn't have thrived in that situation. I needed to fix it more, and you know, it's not perfect now, of course. Nothing's gonna be completely perfect, but it's much better that I've had this time to like actually like sit back and like not have too much stressors, because I feel like that's always one thing. Like when I was in grade 12 and I was trying to do both, I was trying to put Christ first and do school. It was like impossible.
Yeah.
It was like impossible. And that's why I think I needed this time to like figure that out, to figure out what it means to put Christ first.
Right.
Although like, I think I've really learned recently, like even putting Christ first isn't the greatest thing. Like that just sounds so. That sounds so bad. That sounds so bad. The context. Just let me give the context. So what I'm saying and meaning is, we don't want to put Christ first, but we want to put him at the center.
Right.
Putting him first isn't always possible. I heard about it, like, for instance, you have a baby. You can't just say to your baby who's crying, be like, yeah, just give me a second. I have a prayer to go through. I have a book to read. I have all this stuff. You need to just stop crying and like, I'll get you food later. You can't do that. There's a lot of things where you can't do that, but what you can do is, while you're you're going to your kid, while you're feeding your kid, while you're tending to your kid, have Christ, you know, that armor of Christ with you, that overall presence of God being in you, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think
I
is
think-
more important.
And like loving your child is also like reflecting of Christ.
It is,
Like that's
yes,
what Christ
yeah.
would have done.
Yeah, I'm just saying you can't put him first and do stuff for him first, but you can have him in everything you do.
Yeah.
He can be like, somebody put an example, a drawer. You know how there's the first drawer, there's the second drawer, there's the third drawer. You want God at the first drawer, but you can't all the time. So it's better to have the drawer itself be the image of God.
Okay.
not a good representation.
I don't know. I took a lot of physics in university, so
Right. Now that I'm finishing off this gap year, it's coming to a close soon, I've really learned a lot
well, you.
about.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say like you got really involved with your church community, and I think like
Yeah.
from an outside view, I think that's where I saw you grow the most.
Yeah. Well, like before even grade 12, I would struggle to even get to youth group every day. I didn't go there too often. To be honest, if I went, it would probably be twice a month.
Yeah.
Out of 4 times, which is pretty bad, 50%. I was less than 50%, to be honest.
Oh, you're a less than 50 kind of guy.
I probably was less than 50% there. And I mean,
Well,
the part of the reason why I was like, I don't want to go alone. Like, I want Jack to, because Jack was going with me mainly.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go alone at all. Like, it was just, it felt awkward sometimes. And I mean, like, you're supposed to be uncomfortable, but like, I didn't like it back then.
Yeah.
And I know now that it's better to be uncomfortable and going to seek his presence than, you know, not be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Or than be comfortable and, you know, not in his presence, right? But that's something that was wrong. And now really I go, like I do like a lot at the church. It's almost to the extent where it's too much for me because I get too busy and can't like have that. Because, like, it's different from having quiet time versus, like, going to church for a small group.
Right.
Like, quiet time should be more important than that, right?
Yeah, it's your communication.
But, yeah, but I think it was what I needed, though. That's the thing. Like, I needed to be busy in the church. Like, I needed that. Like, for me, I'm, like, a person who, like, if I get the day off, like, the entire day off, like, I feel like I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's like so much stuff that you could do that you like don't get much done. That happens to me. So that's why like I need to be busy to get stuff done. And there's nothing wrong with me being like, I enjoy being busy. On Wednesdays and Thursdays, I go from work, go work out, come back to my house, maybe get food. Typically I don't. And then I go right away because I don't have that much time. But I definitely have liked the idea of being busy, even though many people would say it's not a great thing. But now, I mean, you're out of university for first semester, right?
Yep.
And I'm just
Got
still working at No Frills.
Working at MCC, Mennonite
Yeah.
Central Committee.
Now we're making a podcast,
Any
trying
questions?
to, you know.
Just discuss like
Yeah,
every
just
day.
discuss. Like that's the thing. Like late night talks. That's what I kind of want the vibe to be in this. Like
Yeah.
a late night talk on a car ride.
Yeah.
Like those are like the real things you see in faith. That's like when you see like the real talk with somebody like that. Like I like even in small groups talking deep about certain stuff about Christ and stuff. I enjoy that. So I thought, why not bring it to this? Why not make it easier and more accessible for me to get into those conversations?
Yeah.
But yeah, we plan. I mean, with this setup so far, it looks like it would be very hard to get more people on. I wanted to do before we end like a prayer.
A little, yeah.
A little prayer. Finally, brothers and sisters, rejoice. Strive for full restoration. Encourage one another. Be one of mind, live in peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you. We hope to do this. I mean, I don't know how much we're going to do this. Like, if we're going to do it once a week, probably not.
Twice a week.
Twice a week for the podcast. Just listen in any way you want. Like, you could look at us this entire time, but, like, it's a pretty bad setup. So I would try to, like, just listen to it, the audio, right? But we have, like, a
It's pretty scuffed.
really scuffed, like, wiring system.
Something going on with the camera angle too. It makes my the lower half of me look super wide, and the upper half of me look kind of skinny.
You can barely, like, the most of the time, the entire time, you can barely see me. Other than, like,
it makes you look tiny. This guy's in the gym all the time.
Huh?
This guy's in the gym all the time, bro. And you're just like a little,
All right, bro. All right.
little side character.
All
Kind of
right.
like that.
I'm short. Not average height yet. Yet. I'll get there.
Christians come in all different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
You can cut that out.
We're not cutting that out. We're not cutting that out. But I think this was a good session. We got a good bit out, and
Good testimonies.
Yeah,
You'll probably learn more about us as we go along.
yeah,
too.
you'll learn more about us. And
Like, there was things I thought of where I was like, oh, maybe I should say that. And I was like, nah, that'll come up in a different time.
yeah. All right, guys, that's really it. Thanks for listening, and tune in next if you want to listen to us talk about whatever, and talk about faith in
Let us
any
know.
way. Anything you want to talk to us to talk about, let us know. Man, I'm so cold.
Yeah, it's really
It's
cold.
freezing out here.
I don't know why you didn't wear a sweater.
All right.
But
See you guys.